Hello, hello. I am EJ, you are you, and welcome to my channel. Now today, y'all, I have something that is a little bit different from what we usually do on this channel, although it's not super different. Usually I do speed builds of single areas, but today I'm actually going to be showing you a speed build of my entire island from start to finish. This was just a great time and opportunity really for me to kind of look back on Ponderosa, my jungle island, from start to finish and see, you know, the ways that it changed, the ways that it didn't. Also, like, unlike other videos, I'm gonna try not to talk as much as I usually do. Usually I'm just like blabbing on and on throughout the videos, but for this one I just kind of wanted to let this be like kind of a chill. I'm still gonna talk, don't worry, but you know, I wanted this to be like a little bit chiller. You guys can kind of like hang out and watch this island get built from the start. Now I will say that the first area that you're seeing is pretty obviously the entrance to the island, which is a pretty good place to start on an island, right? Although actually this isn't on my other islands, Quadratini, the last times I was building them. I actually didn't start in the entrance, and I just thought that it was like the only area at this point when I started that I had inspiration for. Now with Ponderosa, I wanted to do a lot of like different design ideas than what I usually do. Usually I'm very like natural and like everything has like a reason. And it's like, oh, why is this stool here? Oh, because this person is here. You know, like there's a reason behind everything. I wanted to really embrace like kind of a clutter core moment with this island, which is definitely very different for me. So in this build, I'm kind of just like working all that out and like seeing what that even means, and like using potted plants as plants outside in the real world, which was something that was like huge for me at the time. It's like really funny to me to look back on this because like, I don't know, now I'm just like, yeah, okay. I don't know. But at the time I remember just being like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm using potted plants outside as though they are plants. Crazy. Some other funny things is like I totally did not figure out the aesthetic of Ponderosa yet when I was doing this. I had the path, that was basically it. And you can see by that like hay bale and stone fence with like a bonsai tree. Like what is, I don't know. I don't know what that is. Also like the upper level is like not as full as I even would have ever done now. But anyways, on to the next build. I need to stop hitting the mic. On to the next build. So, this build is a marketplace. This is my second build, and it actually featured the incomparable Lex Play. Hi, Lex Play. So this was our Stonehead challenge. We had to feature the Stonehead or Rockhead statue, I think is what it's called. Whoa. The Olmec head statue that is in the game, as we just had it featured in an area, in a prominent thing. So I decided to do a marketplace. Also, who the heck is Peggy? I had no idea. I completely forgot that I had her on my island, and truly I can't really remember her being on the island. Like, the only reason I know she was is because I have video evidence of her. But I don't know. So I think if I was just like dipping my toes, blah, blah, blah. If I was just dipping my toes into the jungle clutter core waters in my first build, I think this is the first build that I really like embraced it. And I think I really started to like hone the techniques and figure out what I wanted to do. So yeah, as you can see up here, I remember this for one thing being extremely impossible to edit, and I have truly never gone back up there because I don't want to try and figure out the cluttercore mess that was that upstairs, that second level. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. This is also the build that introduced me to the love of my life, the wind turbine. I love the wind turbines, and this was the build that made me realize that because of the shadow. Look at it. Oh, incredible. And there we are, friends, hanging out in a Rockhead marketplace. You love to see it. So with my next area, I decided that I wanted to build my Nooks area. Now, I had not a lot of ideas for this area, other than I knew that I wanted it to have like 2 bridges to get to it. And that is actually a recurring theme with a lot of these builds. I sketched out like a, 3x6 grid, whatever like half of the island is, because remember, I'm only using half the island. I sketched that out and like kind of drew a little bit like, I'll put the Nooks in this acre and this will go over here. But I didn't like figure it out down to the like exact square, which is evidence because I actually had to move all of this down by 4 squares. I didn't show that in this build just because like timing, like this video is long enough as it is, but just like, I feel like it's important to point that out just because so that people, I'm not like giving any false impressions that I just like, woke up and was like, yes, I know exactly what I would do in Ponderosa. No, I had to like figure it out, and it was a struggle most days. This was the other part of this build that was kind of cool for me, is that, like, I was really learning about, like, adding texture to the background. And by that, I mean, it's using items not for their functional purposes. Like, why are there jail bars there? Who knows? It doesn't matter. But, like, just, like, using them when they're there, they add, like, depth and visual interest to it. And even though when you look at it, you don't really necessarily think like, why are there jail bars up there? It just like looks good. Does that make sense? I don't know. Maybe it does. And there's Nooks. There she is. It's a shop. So with this island, this is the first island that I kind of like sat down and was like, okay, who are my villagers gonna be? And like I planned it out. And 2 of them were actually Lopez and Coco, who I had on my island at this point. So I was like, all right, time to start building the first villager area. Now, part of this actually included a expansion of this river because I wanted to start working on the area around my resident services, but I didn't have a huge plan for that area other than that it was going to be a connecting area between other areas. Fun drinking game. Take a shot every time I say area. Don't. You'll die. Anyways. So this is actually stuff that I don't think I ever like put this in the video because it just took up a lot of time, and I was like, I'll make a video about how I edit it. But the resident services is actually an area that kind of just got designed by being next to other things that I was building. And in the end, it actually turned out looking really well, but it was never intentional. So I thought that was just kind of funny. The other thing that was annoying about this build, I remember this after looking back, and I was like, ugh, is that I just had to move so much crap. Here's my tip. If you're gonna do an island, make sure you just drop stuff in like an area that you're not gonna be building in, like the third build. Like you use the beaches, put your flowers on the beach for one thing because they won't spread, but also just because like it's out of the way, Because I just had to keep pausing to like cut down trees and move flowers and all this stuff, and it just took so much time. It was so frustrating. Yeah, so for the villager area, I just wanted to make like a little grotto. I only intended actually for there to be 2 houses down here when I was sketching out my little island plan, but it turned into 3 houses, which I'm not angry about. I think it turned out really well. But I think it just like is more evidence of like the ways that my plans for this island like kind of stay the same, but changed a lot as well. Also, this video is just a fun way for me to use like all the music that I used in the background for all the Ponderosa videos again. Because I really liked it. Like, I'm recording this voiceover and dancing right now because it is a vibe. Now, one thing I think I should have mentioned before we got into this build, probably a little, this video, just like in general, I don't really think it's necessarily important for me to talk about like, oh, why did I choose to use the jail bars in this area and the cannon over here? Because I feel like that's just like super like minute detail. And I get into that detail in the speed builds. What I'm really trying to focus on with this video is just like, how did this all come together? And how did I connect areas, you know, and how did... You know, it's just like a fun like reflection for me, like reacting to my first few builds on this island. I don't know. And so this is this area. I loved this area. I mean, okay, listen, every area on this island, when I finished it, I was like, this is my new favorite section of this island. Because it was new, it was fancy. But I loved how this one turned out. Now, a cool thing about that last area that you saw is that it actually inspired me to go back and adjust my entrance a little bit and change it and update it just like with some of the, I don't know, like tricks and like ideas that I'd come up with for using in that area. And I was like, oh, let me use those over here. I unfortunately didn't get video of a lot of the updating. There's actually a few areas I went back and updated. I'll try and point them out if I see them, but I unfortunately just didn't get video because I was like, oh, I can build off video? Great. I'm gonna do it. Oh God, this area. So originally this was supposed to be, I think I wanted to put 2 houses up here or 3. I think I was putting 3 houses up here. I kept trying to stuff 3 houses in places because I knew that I needed to have one area with 3 houses. So I think I was gonna try and do that here, and it was gonna be like, they were in a temple, like a temple ruins, which is what this area turned out to be, but like, I don't know, it was like a housing complex in the center of it. I don't know. I was struggling with it. I wasn't sure what to do. And I think I just eventually was like, okay, you know what? You know what we got to do? We're going to do something completely different. It took me a while to figure that out. So this was another idea that I tried, which was putting the trees on like the single pillar, because I was like, maybe that'll make it look like overgrown and old. Which like it does, like it looks cool, but I don't know what I was trying to do. I was really just stalling, essentially, as you can see by all the standing around I'm doing. And then I was building up the thing. I don't know what I was doing there. So then what I decided to do was, okay, cool, this is gonna be the museum. So I had to get rid of that one stone incline and move it over 2 spaces. And then I was just starting on the museum. I was still under the impression that I was going to do 2 houses in front of the museum. I don't know what I was thinking. I don't think, like, it wouldn't have worked. Like, it could have worked, but it wouldn't have looked good, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I had to go back in time and change something, I think I would have put my museum in a different area, because it being on the 3rd level in front of an area that's on the 1st level, it made this giant eyeline issue. So like you can't see any of the area that's behind the museum, and that pisses me off every time I do it. Like I have to deal with it later when I build, and I don't know. I was just like kicking myself. I was like, why did I put this here? I would have put it more forward, but I like how it turned out anyway, so I don't know. Land bridge. Now these land bridges, I use a couple times, this like style of like the single square, and it was actually inspired by ACNH Mia on Instagram, who has an incredible jungle island that actually served as a lot of inspiration for this island. They just really have some great designs for like jungle. So if you're looking for some more jungle core inspiration, definitely check them out on Instagram. And here we are continuing on with the filling in for texture. Obviously these areas down here aren't practical. You can't go into them really. So I was just putting in a bunch of plants and random furniture. Actually it was only plants to just add texture. Now this build, okay, this was the build, again, I say this after everyone, but like, I was like, dang, this is incredible. And so you can see you see how there's like a little square, a little L on the ground in the dirt right by me? And then there's another one to the right of me. That's because I was going to put a second house there. What was I thinking? I wasn't really, apparently, but I don't know. So this is me. I like finally resigned myself to it. And then I put down these other squares and I was like, that's not a lot of room for a house up here. I think I need to extend out this edge. But I was worried because I wanted to do this like Temple of Champions thing. So I had to take a break in the middle of my build to just go out and like finally just put down some pathing to help me plan out this area. And I used the river because I knew that I wanted rivers to be on either side. And using that tool, I was able to figure out and like conceptualize this area, even though I wasn't going to build it yet. I knew like I had a pretty good idea of like what I wanted it to look like, so I was able to plan and extend this area. And this is the first instance of the 4th level hack being used on Ponderosa. I love this hack. I actually think I only used it like one other time, now that I'm saying it. So I don't know why I'm like saying like, oh, and then we use it all the time, because we don't. We only use it one other time, but you know, it's so cute. And then, oh my God, I remember this area right behind my resident services gave me so much trouble. And so I was frustrated. So I just built out these rivers because I was irritated and I couldn't figure out what to do. Honestly, this is what I do. Whenever I'm not inspired by an area, I honestly just like go work on something else. Like, I'm like, okay, what else can I be doing? That's just like a menial, like moving flowers task. And for this, it was building out the rivers. There it is. There she is. Here's the area. And then I got called by Dobie, I think. And ran over. I was like, what? Yeah, he gave me a reaction, so I was happy. So that is our little temple. And now we have the Valley of Champions, which I very quickly was like, I want this to be wider. I wanted to give myself 2 squares. And so I quickly was thinking this out as I was doing this, but I was like, okay, I think I can actually shrink this pathway a little bit, although it does stymie one of my plans that I had, which was to put trees in this area, because now you can't, because you could, but it'd be in the middle of the pathway. And then I was just building out these rivers. I was very happy at this point that I'd done this planning the time before, because I knew exactly where everything was supposed to go. It was super easy. Now, I think I would have probably liked to make that cliff area on the left of the temple valley. Like, I think I could probably have it wouldn't have hurt if I had made it like bigger, like 1 square bigger, so that I would have 3 squares wide of that 3rd level to actually put like trees there. I ended up using like the trees on cliffs hack or trick or whatever, but you know, it would have just made my life easier. I still love this path. I still love all the paths I used on Ponderosa, actually. I mean, obviously, it's like not this island isn't that old. I finished this island like 3 weeks ago. I remember someone commented on this video too, that I think in the voiceover, I was like, yeah, so this area is really going to challenge me to like not use a lot of trees and stuff. And then like a minute later, I was like, so then I used the hack to put trees on the edges of cliffs. And someone commented being like, LOL, like someone pointed that out. I just thought that was funny. Oh, these Turkey Day stands. So there was an idea that I had, and I can talk about this now openly. So with Last Crosser Standing happening, check it out. New game tomorrow. I wanted to do this thing where like, oh wait, I'm gonna talk about this now. Okay, I at one point just started pulling flowers that were cloning elsewhere on the island. And I used it as an opportunity to find the flowers, and then I would like patch up the holes by like putting stuff there. Anyways, so with Last Crosser Standing, I was like, oh, I'll use the Turkey Day stands and I'll put like a little memento to represent each winner along the valley, because it's the Valley of Champions, right? And so I was going to put them on the Turkey Day stands. Bad idea, because it just makes the walkway hell, because it's only 3 squares wide. So you're constantly like walking into the lantern, walking into the Turkey Day standing. You're just like, get me out of here. This was a fun challenge, though, to kind of like put stuff along the edges, because I didn't want to use the trees on cliffs hack, at least on the first level, right? So like I wasn't putting trees in anything there. So it was just a bunch of like bamboo partitions and like random flowers and bushes and things like that. So this is this area. This was an area I was really proud of. And I was really excited about this area when I finished it, because I was like, it really made me, I was like, ooh, Last Crosser Standing is coming. Now, okay, technically this part of the video was filmed before I did the walkthrough of the Valley of Champions that you just saw, because I wanted to put this waterfall area up here, and I just started working on another build, I think like before I finished the video, and I was like, oh, I didn't do a walkthrough. Oops. But this is the beginning of the building the like walk to Tribal Council area. That is where my house is. I was kind of trying to jump onto like that tree house. What is that? Treehouse trend that was happening. Wanted to make sure my content was relevant. I don't think it was really a treehouse though. So yeah. Oops. And again, this I think just kind of speaks to the like haphazard way that I built this island. That like. I was just like, oh, maybe I should make this 4 watt. Like, I was just constantly going back and like adjusting terraforming. And then I had no idea what to do with the paths here. So I just like drew these random paths in the dirt. And then I don't even know what that section I was just terraforming was. I saw it in the video and I was like, this is baffling. I must include it. So, okay, I know that I've said this after every single build was done, but I do actually think that this build, to this day, is my favorite build that I did on Ponderosa. Mainly because of like the tribal council area and just like the walk. And it is, I think if you look in my like photo gallery or whatever on my Switch, you will see that this is the area that I've taken the most pictures of, which I think is evidence of this being my favorite area. I also was trying, I burped. I was also trying when I was building this area to limit how much work I had to do for myself. Because that's the way, this is one of the things I will say that is like different about this island from any other island that I built, is that this was built for YouTube. So I had to work in such like a contained way that I usually am not doing. And like there were times where I like went and worked on another section, but usually I was just like, okay, I need to finish this one area in like 4 hours or whatever, you know? So this was just like a different way of working for me. All that to say, I was trying to limit the scope of this build unsuccessfully, because this actually, I think, is the largest build on Ponderosa. It is like the largest square footage, inch, whatever you call it, of like area that I had to build at one time. And I did this myself. I probably could have cut this up into 2 sections, but you know, I like biting off more than I can chew, as evidenced by the fact that this video took me a week to put together, you know. And so these back walls, I talk a lot about this actually in the speed build, so I won't talk too much about it. It's just funny to me that like I spent so much time doing this one version of the back of the walls and then completely redesigned it off camera and like kept that in the final walkthrough, which you can see here. It's raining. Actually, I don't think this is the final walkthrough, but whatever. And now this is a fun build because this was done on stream. This was my first stream build. Ooh, it is the Villager Cliffs. Remember how it kept being like I was trying to shove like 3 houses in wherever I could? This is where I did it. This is where I got it done. And this was kind of fun because I think like I wasn't planning on doing a build. I think this was a villager hunt stream originally, and then I found Shep in like 9 tickets or something like that. No, I think it was like 20. I don't know. And I was like, oh, what do I do for the rest of the stream? And so I did this. And it was a lot of fun because it was like the first time I got to kind of like collaborate with a lot of people watching the stream. And they had a lot of really helpful comments, and they were helping me out just like with things and with ideas and like, oh, this looks bad, this looks good, you know, that kind of thing. It was fun. Anyways, so this was like funny because I fully was not prepared for this build when I started doing this. And so all this terraforming that you're seeing is basically me flying by the seat of my pants on stream and being like, yeah, I'll figure it out. R.I.P. Bamboo Tree. And here's the next place that I'm going to use that 4th level hack. Love it. The infamous stairs. If you want to hear the story behind the stairs, you're going to have to go watch the build. So we use the tree on cliffs hack and the 4th level hack all in one video, all in one build. I mean, you just gotta love it. And here everyone's moved. And now we get to the design portion. Now this part was done off stream because it took me like 2 hours to do the terraforming alone for this. So I wanted this to be like an orchard, you know, a jungle orchard. And I was like, there's no real place for an orchard. So I just tried to use all the like non-native fruits, trees in this area. It turned out cute. This is not this is not how I ended up with it. This wasn't what it was in the end. That's what it is. This like distribution of the fruit trees, but you'll see in like literally a minute. Sorry for grooving, y'all. So so you saw it. I guess I didn't show it. I moved all the fruit trees and I spread them out a lot more to give myself more room. And here it is. Remember how I said that after every area, I say it's my favorite? That's how I felt about this one. Now this was a spur of the moment decision. I moved, so on my little plan of the island, I was moving the campsite around to all these different areas. I had no idea where it was going to go. And then the Mario update came out, and I coincidentally had this one like square section of my island that was like up in the upper left-hand corner, like right in between the Valley Champions and my house, the like walk to Tribal Council. And I was like, what the hell am I going to do with this cliff? Well, I turned into the campsite using the warp pipe, which I thought was very nifty. And I remember I was like, I need to do this right now so I can get on the hype and make sure that everyone's searching for the Mario items. And you know, it worked, because that is a good performing video. She's a YouTuber, you know. Oh. Now, by the time we're at this point, actually, like, designing these areas is pretty easy. I don't want to say easy. I mean, it is, because I feel like at this point I've solidified what the vibe of Ponderosa is. Like, what items do I use all over the place? The issue now, I think, was just making sure that every area felt distinct, and making sure that I wasn't using the same exact designs everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So there's definitely like motifs and ideas that get reused a lot, like the bamboo partitions as background. Like I use those a lot. But you know, I think the issue, it was less of like, let me think of the ideas, and more like, let me make sure I'm not using all of the same ideas in the same areas, like 3 times over. You know what I'm saying? But I think it still helps it make it look cohesive. And here she is, the final area, using like a bunch of the Mario items, which I thought that I wasn't going to use at all, but then I ate my words. So now we're really getting down to it. I think now I have 3 villager houses left to give areas for, and Able Sisters. And that's really, and then like a couple areas I just don't have finished. So this first area is Audie's house, which I wanted to put on the beach. And I did not plan well enough for myself. I had this little like dirt area for a while, but then I was like, I want to put her on the beach. And then it actually didn't work because the beach wasn't big enough there. So if I had planned better, I probably could have done that, but I didn't. So I rolled with the punches and just kept her on the grass. Now, this was a fun build for me because it was beachy, and like I feel like Jungle Core and Tropicore, at least in my mind, even before I started the island, were like, I was like, yeah, they're like kind of similar. And I think I like described the island for a while as like a jungle Tropicore island, which felt a little redundant to me, but guess what? It's not the same, because then when I was doing this build, which I was like, this is like truly like a Tropicore build, it was kind of fun. Like a fun challenge was figuring out how to translate Jungle Core to Tropicore and like make it beachy, but still make it feel like jungly and woodsy, and not woodsy, jungly. Woods are different. And here she is. Gave Audie a little picnic area and started to use, this is actually the first build that I used weeds in. I like forgot that weeds were a thing that one could use in builds. So after this build, I actually went and put a bunch of weeds all around my island. It was inspired by a comment. Someone was like, you should use weeds here. And I was like, yeah, I should, you're right. So I did. And they were right. I'm not afraid to admit when I was wrong or when I didn't think of something, you know. So this is the last villager area. This is for Simon the monkey and Tangy the cat, who I moved here because I realized that I couldn't have her on my main island. So I'm giving them a little two-tiered villager area. Now I wanted to make sure, because I have another, two-tiered villager area on the beach, like right to the left. So the big challenge with this one for me was just like making sure that they felt different enough. So like I didn't want to do a lake, didn't want to do a grotto kind of thing. So I wanted it to feel like kind of like a touristy beach, and they like live on the touristy beach. As opposed to the other one, which was very much like chill neighborhood hangout spot for the locals. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning of the cannibalization, not cannibalization, but I think the latter half of these builds, I went in a big circle and then I had to double back on myself and go back. And a lot of these later builds changed that marketplace build that I did at the very beginning. Because I had no idea what I was really, I like, honestly, that was a challenge that I did with Lex. And so I like didn't intend for that to ever be a part of my island. And then it was, and I loved it. So I just kept it. So I had to go back and like edit it a lot, to make sure that it fit in with all the other things I was doing the island. I was proud of this area in the end. I think it feels to me like, now looking back at it, I'm like, okay, so this was kind of a combination of the Cliff Village area, the Island Grotto Villager area, and Audie's house. And it like makes so much sense that this area was built after them, because I feel like it uses elements of all of those areas. Second to last build, guys. We are almost there. If you are still watching, I love you. This is the Able Sisters build. I knew that Abel's was going to go here for a while. I just didn't have any ideas what to do with it. And then I was like, I'll just wait, and I'm sure I'll get an idea later. I didn't. Spoiler alert. But I figured it out when I was doing this. So moving Able Sisters back over here. This is actually where the shop was, the Nook shop. When I first started the island, I put it here. And then I went through a couple different drafts of like where I was going to put the Able Sisters, and I ended up putting here where the Nooks was. Funny how that works. So remember how I was talking about how like I changed the marketplace a lot? Yeah, this happened there. Because that stall that was there was just like kind of obstructing traffic in a lot of ways. So I moved it over up here where I'm going right now. Is this an Able Sisters build? Who knows? Is it just me updating my island? Probably. So it turned into like a little break area for the Able Sisters, See, it's like, industrial, not really industrial, but like boxes, power poles, what, power line poles? What are those called? I don't know. Utility poles. Brain fart. Okay. What was I saying? Yeah, it looks like the back area of a store, but it's outside. Cute. Jungle. Aww. One thing that you don't see is that I actually ended up putting a tree there after someone's comment saying you should put a tree in the middle of that peninsula. And I was like, you know what? You are right. You don't see it in this video because I did it off stream or off camera. And now the last build. Well, I guess this is technically 3 builds, but I put it out in one video. So in my head, it's only 1 build. But this is 3 areas. So this is my beach, and then there's 2 like small areas that I needed to fill in to finally call it quits and be done with Ponderosa. So this is like a jungle temple beach. I like the temple ruins idea that I did with the, what's it called? The museum. So I just wanted to continue that idea down here. Like maybe this temple was built here and then like as the ocean came in, it like eroded away and now this is all that's left of this, you know, in tatters. This was a true collaborative effort because I had to get stone from my friend McKenna halfway through the stream because I didn't have enough stone to build things. But now we're on to the second area. This is like an outdoor bathroom spa moment, inspired by a picture that someone put into my lovely little Discord as an inspiration photo for her incredible island, PFNR. Are you guys sick of me saying that these stream areas were collaborative? Because I'm about to say it again. This area, I definitely got a lot of help from people on stream, which I really appreciated. People were like very quick to just be like, I don't like this. And you know what? I appreciate them because don't beat around the bush if you're going to give me feedback, you know? Just like, you know, be nice, but just tell me, right? And now our third and final area, the jungle walk. An area that I had no idea what I was going to do here. I've been racking my brain for the entire time I was building, just hoping that inspiration would come. And then I was like, you know what? I just have to put something here. So I made it just like a walk. And it was fun because it actually ended up being a fun little like best hits of like the jungle areas. It's kind of fitting that this was the last area that I built on my island because I feel like the Moai statues there are like really great. It's kind of like, it feels like it's a reference to the Valley of Champions. I get to use like, you get to see like the wind turbine. I use some statues I used elsewhere. It just felt like there was a lot of elements that I was using in this jungle walk area that were from all over the island. And they were all now together in one area. So I thought that was cute. I thought that was cute. And there it is, the jungle walk, which if you keep walking down, you get to the bathroom spa area, and then that leads you right on over to our lovely little beach temple ruins. So that's it. That is my island from start to finish. You saw it from its very early days of being kind of Windows XP all the way up to the end of being a lush jungle paradise. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Listen, if you watched to the end of this video, I love you. I love you. And you know what? I have a question for you so that you can show me that you watched all the way to the end. And that is, if you had to be reincarnated as an animal, what animal would you be reincarnated as? Fun question, right? Kind of philosophical. I'm not taking it easy on you just because you just watched 43 minutes of me. But yeah, if you guys watch all the way to the end and you're not subscribed, crazy, subscribe. Get subscribed. Let's go. And, you know, keep an eye out for the next video. I will be back to my regular schedule next week. All right, I want to be done with this video, so I love you all. Goodbye.